with the Frugal Technology Show. I thought the next thing we would talk about this evening is the Mojave experiment. For you, those who are not familiar with the Mojave experiment, Microsoft has started a $300 million advertising campaign to convince people that you need to be investigating and perhaps purchasing Vista. Now, the reason for this Mojave experiment, and I'll just kind of give you the short version, is Microsoft took a group, I believe the number is 140 people who said they've never used Vista because they had heard so many bad things about Vista from bloggers and from other users and over the internet. They just wouldn't even consider Vista. And Microsoft asked them on a scale of, I think, 0 to 10 to rate Vista, and many of them gave it a 0. I think the actual average score was a 4.5. And then Microsoft then proceeded to unveil their next generation of Windows and showed them a 10-minute presentation of different features of this new operating system codenamed Mojave, and they loved it. Microsoft took videos of their how much they liked this new operating system, showed them all the great capabilities of what it can do, and then taped the users saying, "Boy, I'd like to have that. Wonder when it'll be available." And they go, "Surprise! You can have it right now. It's actually Vista." And it's like they got all these reactions. "Oh wow, this is great! This is great! It's wonderful!" And that's the Mojave experiment in a nutshell. Now, there's been a lot of talk going around the internet about the Mojave experiment. There's been a lot of bloggers write about it, and a lot of information out there about it. But I think there's an article from eWeek that I thought kind of summed this up pretty good, and certainly my feelings about it. And I want you to know that I use Microsoft Vista Ultimate Edition every day on a HP A1450N. It's a dual-core Athlon X2 4200 machine with 3 gigs of memory, 250 gigabyte SATA drive. And it has a NVIDIA 7300 or GT 7300 video card in it. So it's by no means an underpowered machine, and it runs okay. It's certainly not the speedy machine I had when it was running XP Pro by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm not so much worried about that as I'm just my applications working, being able to print, being able to use my browsers, my photo editing software, all these things that I do on my PC. That's with my concern. The longer I use it, the more Microsoft seems to patch things, and things started working a little better here and there, but there's still weird stuff. My instant messenger takes 3 or 4 minutes before it'll finally get started. The user account control, I went ahead and re-enabled that. It doesn't seem to learn on different applications that it's okay like it's supposed to. That being said, it's not terrible. I'm not going to, I'm not one of these people who just want to bash Vista because, Vista's no good. It's not that at all. My case has always been there's been really no compelling reason to shell out the cash to upgrade from XP Pro to Vista. Okay, there's not enough, in my opinion, features in Vista to really justify that expense. And that's been my whole point. I don't see, you gain a few things. In the Ultimate Edition, you get a a full backup and restore tool. You get the BitLocker drive encryption. Let's see what else you get in Ultimate Edition. You get Dream Scene. I don't know. I don't use it. There's the Ultimate Extras. Not sure about those either. Nothing to write home about there. Of course, there's the Media Center thing that comes in with the Ultimate Edition. I don't use this machine for entertainment. I don't use it as a gaming machine. So DirectX 10 doesn't really have much bearing for me. I run this as I run a business here. I'm not really gaming or watching movies or that kind of thing on it. I guess you could make a case and say, well, Vista is kind of more Ultimate, maybe more of a consumer operating system, but I mean, it has all the bells and whistles in it, I guess. I just don't see a compelling reason why somebody with a perfectly good Vista or XP Pro machine would pay, $100, $150 to upgrade it to Vista Ultimate. But I think it's going to get. Do I think Vista's going to get better? Yeah, I think Vista will. It's not so much Vista will get better, but I think the people who write the drivers for various hardware devices will get better with it. Microsoft will continue to find and locate bugs in Vista and squash those, but I don't really see it being made to run as snappy as XP on older hardware. I think the concept is you'll get newer, faster hardware. But anyhow, this response was written in eWeek by Joe Wilcox, and he makes a comment: I rarely so suddenly turn about an opinion or analysis about Microsoft, but I can admit being wrong. The Mojave experiment is conceptually a fresh marketing effort, at least for such a lame marketer as Microsoft, but after looking more closely at Mojave and reviewing Microsoft Watch reader comments, I have to call the experiment perhaps the worst kind of marketing. He says, I apologize to readers. I got caught up in the Microsoft glow after so many months of marketing darkness. Did I drink the Microsoft Kool-Aid? Sadly, yes. The reasons why the Mojave experiment fails should have been obvious, and they are: one, Microsoft treats its customers like they're stupid. I've heard this complaint for a decade. Wizards, perhaps best personally, testify to this attitude. Microsoft compels customers to go through a long and unnecessary step-by-step process to set something up. It's click, 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 where one or two mouse clicks should be enough to set up an application or add a device. It says the iPod model is an example of the right approach. The end user plugs in a device and begins loading music. Well, there's some fairly complex apps in there that I don't see how I'd be able to maybe set up certain applications with one or two mouse clicks, but I do understand the point.